All right. Welcome everyone to this early Monday morning. Well, it's early-ish for me. It's 8 o'clock here Mountain Time. I am here in Denver, Colorado. And so welcome to our weekly setup. This is where we set up our week and we get ready for a really strong week, get everything all set up in our journals and ready to go. I noticed we've got some folks. I'm very excited that we have so far there's about 33 folks here. I always wonder, like on a Monday holiday weekend, like how many folks are going to be joining us. So I'm so glad to see that a lot of you are here, ready to get started with the weekly setup. And I saw some folks from California, some folks from North Carolina. Our stage manager here today is Karen, and she's one of our other facilitators, and she's going to be minding the chat for me today. So if you have any questions, concerns, anything that you want to ask or need help with, Karen will be here to help. She is in California, so it's even earlier for her. And I think I saw some folks here from Norway and England, and I was like, oh gosh, it's probably much later in the afternoon for you there. But it's so exciting to see folks from all over joining us. Our Sonder fam just keeps expanding, which is fabulous. And also Karen did pop in the chat. We do have one more monthly setup on Wednesday, and Karen's going to be facilitating that. So feel free to sign up for that when you want to set up, if you want some help and ideas setting up that June journal. Can you believe we're in June already? Oh my goodness, where does the time go? So I didn't notice if there were any first timers here. If this was your first social, welcome. If you're returning, again, welcome. I see more folks kind of popping in. So the way we kind of set this up, Amanda says it's her first weekly. Awesome, welcome. The way we kind of set this up is I'll go through some of the different sections in that weekly setup. I'll give you some ideas, things that maybe some other Sonder folks have done. It's the great thing about being here together with one of these live events is that in the chat, you can see people with their ideas and things that they're doing. So that's always it's always good to kind of get ideas. Oh, I never thought about that. I do also want to make sure to remind you to set your chat to everyone so that your Sonder fam can see what you're saying. And everyone who is here, everyone who attends the social gets entered into a monthly raffle, monthly self-care gift package raffle. So once a month, the folks at headquarters draw a name from all the people who have come to one of the socials. So the more socials you come to, the more entries you get. So that's one of the great perks of being in the Sonder fam is you can come to as many socials as you would like. It's all part of the membership that you pay to be here. So again, so excited to see everyone here. And so let's get started. So this month's theme, we're going to jump right into June. Last month was empowerment, which is fabulous. Oh my gosh, and I saw we have somebody here from Hawaii and it's 4 o'clock in the morning. So woo, that is some serious dedication. You deserve a gold star this morning for that, Allison. That is definitely early. So this month's theme, so we had empowerment last month, and this month's theme is going to be spontaneity. And I've just got to say, every time I have to write this word, I have to make sure that I spelled it correctly. So I know this whole month I'm going to be, as I write that in and do these, when we do the slides, I'm always worried that I'm going to misspell that. So if you ever see a misspelling, just know that it's for some reason, it's a tough word for me to spell. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do what I like to call a little spontaneity activity warm up. And then we're going to dig right in to our weekly setup. So for this morning, I know it might be a little chilly where you are. Definitely, it's been really nice here in Denver, Colorado. It's been really warm. And so I'd been all in a very summery mood. And then last night we had a little cold front blow in and some rain, and it's 45 degrees this morning. And I opened the window in the kitchen this morning and then I got a little chilly, but still kind of excited thinking about summer. So the activity that I have for you this morning is what I'm calling the summer spontaneity sprinkler, right? I always think of sprinklers kind of going off in that early morning and kind of having the sprinklers going off. And so did you ever run through the sprinkler when you were a kid? I know that that is definitely something that we always did as kids. So it wasn't usually a very fancy sprinkler. I know we were always envious of the kids in the neighborhood that had kind of like the Wet Willie that had the crazy tubes that went crazy. We just had kind of this boring sprinkler that kind of went back and forth, and we would jump and run through it. So what you're going to do is you're going to find a blank page in your journal. It could be, if you want, if you had some blank pages in May, you can totally use those. If you've got a blank page here in June you want to get started with, you can use a small space, you can use scratch paper, whatever you like. So what I want you to do is to draw a sprinkler, and I'll show you mine, and you have to promise not to laugh. I am an aspiring artist, but I definitely, my drawing sometimes can leave something to be desired, but hey, at least I tried, right? So again, this is your journal. You don't have to show anybody like I am going to show you mine. So we're going to draw this spontaneity sprinkler where you think of as many activities as you can that you consider spontaneous. And just a word about that, right? So I think sometimes we think spontaneous, you can't plan spontaneity, right? That kind of seems like it's an oxymoron, right? Like you can't plan out something that's spontaneous. I would argue a little bit with that, because sometimes in order to be spontaneous, you have to have some things in place. So let me show you what I mean. Show you there's my little sprinkler. Hopefully you can tell it's a little sprinkler with the little hose. I got some little grass things going out there. So what I did was I just kind of on that arching bar, I made the little holes for where the water comes out. And then I put the little kind of like little dots coming out, the little water. I put another little picture of a little sprinkler over up in the upper left hand, if you kind of like maybe want to draw that, or again, whatever represents a sprinkler to you. And then on each one of those lines of water, I added something. So for example, so here's what I have. I have unplanned road trip, which again, does take a little bit of prep, right? You want to make sure that your car's gassed up, and you want to make sure maybe you have some snacks and those kinds of things. Running through the sprinkler certainly is something I don't necessarily have to plan. I put stargaze, buy myself flowers, make a cake for no reason. And this is one, yes, I can be spontaneous and say, hey, I'm going to make a cake, but guess what? I need to have those ingredients in the cupboard. So it does take a little bit of planning. When I go to the grocery store this week, I'll need to make sure that I have all the ingredients I need to make a cake for whenever I decide to be spontaneous. What else did I put on there? Rearrange the furniture, sign up for a 5K, memorize 5 jokes, walk barefoot in the park, try on clothes in my closet, and take pictures. Sometimes when I dig in the closet, there's stuff that I don't even remember that I have. So take some time. I'm going to play a little song. Draw your sprinkler in whatever fashion you would like. If you want to just simply list out some things that you want to think of, just think of some things that speak of spontaneity to you. And then I'll come back and I will check on everyone and make sure everything is going okay. I can scooch my music around here. All right, lots of fun ideas. And again, it's a great idea just to kind of throughout the month, kind of think of some different things, or maybe make that something that you put on your to-do list or your habits, is to come up with something that maybe you consider a little spontaneous. So I saw some folks were saying picnics, going to the beach and watching the sunset, going outside in the evening with like the fire pit or having a fire. That was one of our pandemic projects as we redid our back patio. And we got like this lovely fire pit and really nice furniture. So it's nice to go out there in the evening and just kind of sit and, have a cool beverage and just kind of listen to all the bugs and the birds and all that kind of stuff. Some folks were talking about playing mini golf, going on ice cream dates, lunch dates with friends, planning more in their vegetable patches, different kinds of fun things, going somewhere with your dog. It's funny, Julia was saying that she got a sprinkler for her dog, but he was deeply offended by the sprinkler and didn't want to go in it, right? Things that we think sometimes our pets will like and that people like. So great, some great ideas, fun things. Again, this is just kind of a fun way to kind of get some ideas for some things that you want to do. And feel free, if you'd like, to share your picture in Sonder Club, give some folks some other ideas of, fun things that you can do. So let's see, let's hop on over to our weekly planner. So this is week 22 in the year 2022, right? Week 22 of 2022. And I liked this there's a little artist that I like, and she does these cute little pictures, the latest Kate, and she has this little picture of the Loch Ness Monster, and it says, "Bad days do not erase your progress." And I think that's something that's really important, because we all have bad days, we all have setbacks. I have seen some folks in Sonder Club, lamenting maybe they didn't really do as much with the May journal as they would have liked, kind of feeling guilty about that. And I just really want to say, that the journal should never be a source of stress or guilt for you. This journal is something that's specifically for you to use as much as you want. Sometimes we don't use it for some weeks for whatever purpose. So again, don't let that stress you out. You're here today, you're going to get some things set up for this week, and you're definitely going to get in on that first week to go. So the first part we're going to do is the little section where it says, "This week I want to feel." So what you're going to do is you're going to think of, how do you want to feel this week? And I always tell folks that this is a good place, and we're on page 26 in your June journal, by the way. This is a really good place to kind of think of this overarching theme. This is kind of your theme for the week, how you want to feel for the week. And a lot of your to-dos and your goals and your habits and your activities and those kinds of things can go back to, does this feed that feeling that I want? So we have some examples. I want to feel glowing, prioritized. Somebody has like a little heart sticker, right? You can use stickers. These can be affirmations that you really like, just some words, feelings, scriptures, stickers, pictures, doodles, any of those kinds of things that you would like to put in there. How do you want to feel? So again, I'm going to play a little song, let you think about how you would like to feel this week, or what you would like to be, or what you want to embody. Feel free again to pop that into the chat. And otherwise, I will just play the song and I'll come back and check on you. Okay, some good ideas for some ways folks want to feel this week, how they want to kind of go into this week, happy and excited, happy and relaxed, intentional, motivated and driven, encouraged. I like Katie had Gumby, loose and flexible, very nice. Teresa said, like I'm making progress, planning and designing. Sherry's wanting to feel hopeful and saying May was a tough month. And I think, and that happened, I think, for a lot of folks. And that does happen, right? We have tough months. So it's always good, kind of feels like a good fresh start. Clarity, carefree. I had put this week, I want to feel like my best self and really kind of thinking with all my habits and my to-dos and those kinds of things, what would it take for me to feel like my best self? So let's go into our to-dos. Let's kind of pop down there in that little box. And so some ideas, things that you can do with this. Some folks just use this as kind of a place for a brain dump, like all the things that they want to get done this week, they just kind of put in this little to-do box. Some folks like to call this, they change it up and call it the ta-da box, right? Like ta-da! Here's all the things that I did. So as they do things, they write them down and can really feel kind of like they accomplished something, like they're really getting things done. This here over on the left-hand side is called the Eisenhower matrix, which is kind of an interesting way to kind of think about things. So you can kind of divide this up into quarters for this little box, and you have your important and urgent. So those are things that you're going to do. You have your important but not urgent. So those are maybe things that you need to decide what you're going to do with those. The not important but urgent, you're going to delegate, right? And then not important and not urgent, you'd be surprised how many things that we think we need to do or we put on our to-do list and we realize we didn't really need to get those things done. So this is kind of a nice way some folks like to think of to organize this section. And I think here's some other examples that I have. Again, some folks just kind of have just like a little list of things. Some folks like to use this as a to-don't list, things they don't want to do. Maybe they don't want to spend time mindlessly scrolling. They don't want to spend more than 3 hours this week in front of the TV. Things that you are trying to avoid. I like the one up in the top left where it says, what are the 3 most important tasks of each day in the coming week? Where can you schedule time for rejuvenation or refilling your energy cup? What's the smallest possible step forward you can take to see momentum and connect with your why? Right, so kind of a nice idea, and then some other fun little quotes. So again, I'll let you set that up. Give us some ideas for how you're using this, what you're doing with this, if you're repurposing, kind of what kinds of things you're putting in, and I will come back and check in. Okay, so some folks like to use this, we're saying that they like to use this to kind of keep track of um, maybe some big things that they want to do, and then they can kind of break those down into smaller tasks in their daily to-dos that they come up with in the week. Teresa was going to repurpose as a place to put weekly ahas and grand ideas so they don't get lost, in the words of my weekly journaling. Absolutely great idea to put kind of some of those big ideas. Amber was saying last week was kind of a tough week, so some of the things that were in the to-do box last week didn't get done. So moving those over to this week, again, very good plan. Be careful about trying to fill this box up, right? I notice some folks sometimes really feel like they're trying to fill all the available space, right? And so they come up with just this huge to-do list, and it becomes sometimes a little overwhelming, right? We look at that and we're like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get all that done. So what I like to do, like I said, I like to use it as kind of a brain dump of things for the week. And then from that, I pick some to put in. I try each day to do the, like my 3 top priorities. Here's the 3 things that I absolutely need to get done today. So sometimes that helps. And Dina has asked the question, if this doesn't happen this week, what will be affected? If I answer nothing or nothing big, I don't mark it as urgent. I think sometimes, and that is fantastic advice, because I think sometimes we look at that and we think, oh my gosh, I need to get this done, I need to get this done. It's like, do you really need to get it done this week, or is it just kind of a nice to have, or it would be nice if I could kind of get this done this week? I think we have a tendency sometimes to should ourselves, right? Like I should do this, I should do that. And sometimes really kind of scaling back from that and really thinking about asking that question. If this doesn't happen this week, what's going to be affected? Maybe I can put it on next week's to do. So just kind of be careful with that. You don't want to overwhelm yourself. And then you're like, I don't want to open up my journal because I'm going to see this whole list of things that is just going to kind of like stress me out, right? Yeah, and saying like, otherwise I have a page full of urgent tasks, right? So really kind of be honest with yourself as to what's really has to be done this week and what are some things that maybe can do the following week, or maybe can do later, or they're just kind of like interesting, fun things that you want to do at some point, but you don't necessarily have to do this week. So with that being said, let's slide over there to the weekly major 3 goals. So again, this is where you could take some of those tasks, or you could think of big overarching goals, things that you want to kind of have accomplished over the week. So here's some different examples of different things that people have used. I like the up in the top right-hand corner, it says, instead of focusing so much on a to-do list, I'm starting a to-be list. Things I want to be: happy, calm, loving, healthy, awesome. So sometimes feelings or how you want to show up can be really good things to put in for your 3 major goals. The one underneath that is very pretty with, it's this very minimalistic, but very pretty: explore, hydrate, and move, with kind of a pretty little pastel, soft watercolor behind each of those. The one in the middle, number 1 goal is fun, 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 right? I love that. And then settle back in from a trip and spending quality time with someone, right? Another person has planning a trip, preparing for a craft weekend, planning out weekly meals. So again, some kind of big ideas. And then making positive thinking a habit. Maybe that's something, one of your goals is going to be to do some positive thinking for the week. So again, we're going to spend some time. You can fill this out. Give us your ideas for some different goals that you have for the week, and then we'll check back in. Okay, some different ideas, different things that people are thinking to kind of put into their goals. I was also going to say some people like to use a lot of little sticky notes in the journal, and then they can kind of transfer things over as they see them. Some people like to keep that master list of things that they want to do and then transfer them over. So maybe like on a blank page at the end of the month, at the end of the journal, you can kind of just keep this running list, this master list, and then flip back there every week and be like, okay, what do I want to work on for this week? What makes sense? What do I want to see? Some people have some very concrete things like finish a report, complete one item from the to-do list. Jessica has be happy, make yourself proud, believe in yourself. Those are very nice kind of state of being goals for the week, things to kind of look back and remember. Some people also said that they like to do the weekly major 3 goals box first, and then they come up with the tasks that they need to put those over in the weekly to-do box. So that can be a good strategy that you can think of as well. So let's see, calling it, call my to-do list, my get to do list. Yeah, thinking about ways to keep yourself motivated, right? These are things we get to do. These are things that we are able to do, and kind of moving forward from there. So hopefully you've got some ideas. Again, the goal with these socials is for you to kind of get a kickstart and get things writing. You can always spend some time afterward filling things in as you think of them, or sometimes ideas will pop into your head later. So keep revisiting this, keep updating, scratch things out if they don't make sense anymore, cover it with stickers. You can always kind of go back and forth. So let's move on to our habits. And I liked this little quote of getting into the habit of asking yourself, does this support the life I'm trying to create? So again, really kind of thinking about what's the life I want to create, what does my best self look like? And then as you think of these habits, what are things that are going to help support that particular life? So again, here's some ideas for some different things that other folks have done. And the big, sometimes people will ask, what's the difference between this and the monthly habit tracker? And so usually for me and for a lot of other people, the monthly habit tracker are things you want to do every single day, right? Like take your vitamins, go for a 10-minute walk, those things that you want to do every single day that month. This habit/activity tracker in the weekly is more for things maybe you want to do a couple times that week. You don't necessarily want to do it every single day, just maybe 2 or 3 times a day. It can be all 7 if you want, but again, I would recommend if you already have a full wheel of things you want to do every single day, this is a good place to maybe reduce some of that a little bit. And I do like a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So the first line are things is something I want to do 5 times that week. The next thing is something I want to do 4 times, 3 times, 2 times, and then once that week. So again, kind of giving me a little break, not thinking I have to do all those things every single day. The other thing to keep in mind in this is you do not have to fill out every single line, right? You do not have to fill out 5 things. You can maybe keep track of one habit that you want to do this week. You can also keep track of maybe habits that are already established. Some folks are like, for me, for example, I have a pretty strong habit of making the bed every morning. There's rarely going to be a morning that I don't make my bed. But sometimes if I feel like I need a good win, I'll put that down as a habit because I know I can always circle that in because I make the bed every morning. So sometimes that's kind of nice to have a habit that you're already doing. And I would caution against coming up with 5 brand new things that you haven't been doing at all to try to add in, because it starts to get too much. We want to avoid the overwhelm. So there's some ideas, different kinds of things on here. There's like this evening self-care checklist from Silk and Sonder that you could potentially take something from, and just kind of thinking about what you want to do. So let's play a little music, let you write, let us know some of the habits that you're going to track this week and how many times you want to do that. Okay, so lots of good ideas. I saw some folks were liking the 5 4 3 2 1 idea. I think, like I said, I think that's kind of a fun one for me because then I get really excited when I have the one that I'm only have to do once that week, and then I'm like, whoa, I did it, and I'm already done. So always exciting. So folks, some ideas: send a good morning text to a new person in my contact book every day. Super fun. Sometimes I'll put I'll put sending a postcard on a like 3 times a week. So send a random postcard to someone. So anything kind of fun like that is always kind of fun. Reaching out and saying hi to someone sometimes in an unexpected way, a spontaneous way, right? Think about spontaneous connections, sending a postcard when people aren't expecting it, sending that good morning text to folks who aren't necessarily expecting it. Yes. So isn't it fun to get something in the mail that's not a bill or an advert? You can just kind of like a nice little postcard saying, hi, thinking about you. So let's see, let us move on. Oh, I forgot there were some other ideas to give you, and I'll kind of leave that up for a second if you want to take a quick snap if you don't have some ideas for some other things to do. But let's move on to our meal plan. So this is going to be over on that next page, over on page 27. And some folks use this to plan their meals out for the week. Some folks just plan dinners. Some folks like to just track their food and use it to keep track of leftovers. Some people like to use this for the daily affirmations. So in the Sonder app, they kind of write their affirmations there. Some people do a tarot or oracle card pull and they write that in there. Work or school study tracker, exercise tracker, cleaning plan, gratitude log, mindfulness activity planner, end of day reflections, appointments, garden tracker if you need to do anything with your garden, if you need to get that sprinkler out and water some things, TV watching plans, national day of, right? When today is the national day of whatever, you can kind of keep track of that there. Tracking food and symptoms for GI issues or autoimmune issues, those kinds of things is kind of nice to have a good place to track. Dream tracker, or maybe 3 positives a day. So lots of different ideas for ways to use this. Let us know how you're using that in the chat. Spend some time, we'll get that part set up, and then we'll come right back in and check. All right, so some different ideas from folks on how to use this section. Like I said, I'm going to try to plan my work lunches and try to pack those the night before, because I get into such a bad habit of not bringing things to work and not having time in the morning to put things together. And then I'm like, oh, I'll just eat out. And then like after I look at my bank statement and I'm like, how much did I spend on lunches this week? So try to get that back under control. Some other folks were putting things like the daily affirmations from the Sonder Club, quotes or Bible verse of the day. You could always, if you like listen to a horoscope or something, you can kind of write some things in there. Again, lots of different things that you can use this section for. So let's look up at that top mind, body, health plan, that little box up there. Some people use this because this is kind of a tricky one, right? You're like, I'm not sure what to put in here. So this is an idea of doing things. There's 7 different types of rest. Again, this is from Silk and Sonder post on Instagram. So physical, mental, sensory, creative, emotional, social, and spiritual. So this person over on the right wants to do one of those types of rest for each day. So they have some different ideas for each of those types of rest. The other thing is, again, you can use this as this is what I did, kind of a summary of the day. Person on the bottom put finished up a book, dressed for an interview, different kinds of things that they did. And the idea is this is something that you do for your mind / body, something that you're doing kind of for your health, for you to kind of help restore and replenish throughout the week. So again, I don't think I have, and here's some other ideas. There's a daily self-care checklist with some different affirmations or quiet time, helping others, love, be open, keep moving, honor your body. Then there's another person who has kind of like this weekly intentions. So each day has kind of a fun Mother Nature Monday, Tech-Free Tuesday, Breathwork Wednesday, Yoga Thursday, Mindfulness Friday, Self-Care Saturday, Meal Prep Sunday. So different fun ideas for things you can do. Again, play a little song. I'll kind of toggle back and forth between the 2 screens so you can see some of the different ideas. Let us know kind of what you're thinking and what you're going to put in this box for the week. So lots of good ideas of different things that folks can do, kind of keeping track maybe of steps that they need to do each day to complete a project. Someone had that they were going to use it for a special prayer section, who's on top of mind, that they're going to be thinking of each day. Lovely idea. You could use that as a, contact. Who am I going to contact each day and check in on? Again, lots of fun ideas. The other thing to keep in mind is kind of see what works well each week. You don't have to do the same thing every week. If you tried something last week and it didn't work really well, pick something else, right? Kind of switch it up a little bit. So the next piece on here is the shopping list, right? And again, some folks use this for different things. They actually use it to keep track of the things that they need to buy this week. Some people repurpose it with quotes or a packing list. Some people like to put the Wordle if they do that. I like to do, I'm not a fan of Wordle, but I do Hurdle, which is, it's kind of like a, do you remember what was the song where it's like, I can name that song in 1 second. So it's the same kind of thing where they play the beginning of a song and you see if you can figure out what it is, which is kind of fun. It goes all the way up to, I think, like 7 seconds or so. So that's always a fun one. My sisters and I like to play that because we're all big music fans. Keeping track of different routines, a cleaning chart, maybe, different kinds of fun ideas. And since we're kind of running a little bit short on time, I want to also give you some time to fill in this I am loving, a little box down at the bottom. Some people like to do this at the very end of the week. Some people like to do this at the beginning, middle, whenever. So what are you loving? And I thought this was kind of some just little fun pictures. So spend a few minutes, fill out, and I'll toggle back over to this one so you can see for the shopping list. Let us know what kinds of things you're keeping track of. Okay, so as we come to the end of our hour, I'm always surprised how quickly the hour goes by. Hopefully you've got a good start on getting your week all set up on this Monday, getting things ready to go. Feel free to share any of your pages that you would like in the app. People love to get ideas, and that's really where Sonder Fam gets all their ideas from, is kind of seeing other people sharing their ideas. It's definitely a great place to kind of share things. If you don't have the app, this is the QR code, and Karen is also putting in some links into the chat for where to download the app if you don't have that. Also, you can scan the QR code to take the survey. You'll also get an email, but again, with the survey, let us know what kinds of things you want to see in socials. Doing these weekly setups on Monday morning early is new, and that came as a result of people's suggestions, right? Folks were like, I can't come Sunday evening. Could you please do something early Sunday or early Monday morning? So that's how these came about. So let us know if there's times that you would prefer. Be sure you let them know what time zone works for you. And there's also over on the right, there's the YouTube link for all of these recordings. And Karen also put that into the chat as well. Make sure that you use that specific link. You won't be able to search for it. You won't be able to go to Silk and Saunders page to get the socials. It's only on that special link because it's just for you, our Sonder fam. It's not for everybody to be able to see. It's for just for our Sonder fam folks to be able to review these. So I am so glad to know that social's been helpful for this first Silk and Sonder journal. Don't let the journal intimidate you. I know a lot of folks, sometimes they're worried about making mistakes. They're worried about screwing it up. It's your journal. You don't have to share it with anyone. This is really just for you. You can scribble things out. You can put stickers on top of things. You can put, white out, whatever you need to do. Let this be your journal. Let this be something that makes you happy. So again, in the app, lots of good places, suggestions for different things. Ask questions, check in with everyone. Thank you all so much for coming. I hope you have a fabulous week. And hopefully we will see you again in one of our upcoming socials.
Such a beautiful night to make a change in our lives. East Anglian sky, empty bottle of wine. I got you by my side, talking about love and life. Oh, how lucky am I when I look in your eyes. What a wonderful way to spend a moment or two. To be lying awake and be here talking to you. I got something to say, I know what I gotta do. To be making a change, now the moment of truth. Why am I feeling so nervous when things are going so perfect? But I know that it's worth it to spend forever with you. And so I count 2, 3 and get on one knee and I ask you, darling, honestly, I've waited all this time just to make it right. So I'll ask you tonight, will you marry me? Just say yes. One word, one love, one life. A gentle touch of the hand, fingers running through hair, lips pressed to her lips, so I was caught unaware. Arms holding me tight, tears in both of her eyes. What a beautiful way to spend the rest of our lives. The sun will reappear, burning auburn and red. My chest was the pillow, green grass lawn was the bed. Last night was the night, one last moment of truth. And what a wonderful way of falling deeper in you. Why was I feeling nervous when things were going so perfect? But now I know that it's worth it to spend forever with you. And so I count to